This is Daf Yerushalmi Kilayim. We're in the articles where the Ausgard edition on Daf Test, Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the top, the Kasha, and in the Vilna on Ava base, 6 lines from the top on Ava base. Okay, the Kasha, my timer, the Shimon Lakish. We came with Shahotzim Mitochia, the Lizera Chayav. Anybody who's matir in the Mishnah, whatever the matir is difficult because according to Shimon Lakish, Lotiza Kamach Kilayim applies when you release the seeds out of your hand. That's why it's to be Zriya. So it's ready to sow in your hand. But you don't have to. You combine them here and then release them. So then sow them immediately. So what kind of heter is there if you if it's not? If it's only 2 minim and it's in not an enclosure, or whatever the case may be, it's immediate chiv of Lotiza Kamach Kilayim. So whatever. So the Gemara answers, he came and showed him actually when I asked Kash Matan or Rishon Lakish came and showed him when you release it, be chayav. But in Rabbi Omer Kilayim, yeah, Rabbi says it's not Kilayim. Why not? So even Rishon Lakish is moide Rabbi Yochanan that you're not, although the Isser takes place immediately, but it's not considered to be Kilayim until it reaches the ground. It's a fascinating distinction because it's kind of like you need brera. It has to be that it reaches the ground before you consider to be chayav. So perhaps like it's 9. In other words, but at the time you toss it. It's an eye that it lands in sufficient proximity in order to be chayav. The Gemara says, Tani Rabbi Yehuda Matir. So we saw this yesterday, that Rabbi Yehuda Matir is it talking about La Filu Nacha, Rabbi Yehuda Matir? So Rabbi Yehuda's Matir seems to even if it already rests. That doesn't mean that you go for this when you release it tonight, that it lands within proximity. Right? It seems that the Rabbi Yehuda's Matir altogether. According to Rabbi Yochanan, you could say that it's not a field, since the old has when it reaches it has to be on the ground. So you could say it's not a field until it takes roots, or until you count 3 of them. You put 3 of them, put plus 3 of them. In other words, it can't be considered a field until you have 3. Rabbi Yehuda, I understand, or it might do Yashish. In other words, it's got to be on the ground, in the ground. Could be, but according to Shimon Lakish, it should be since it's Isser takes place in the air. So why? How can you say it's mutter, right? And he says, and even Rabbi Yehuda's matter, even once it lands, even the Tanai is fulfilled, so to speak. So Rabbi Shimon Lakish Kedaite. So Shimon Lakish holds like his reasoning from elsewhere. Rabbi Shimon Lakish ben Shem Chizkiah. Shimon Lakish said, name of Chizkiah, Rosh Tur Mechurba is mutter. So this is something which is going to come up later on. If you have a corner, and I'm going to show you a picture from it. Let's see, ours was a very picture. I don't think so. More confusing problem. Okay, so the Rosh Torah Bar Mechurba is like this. Rosh Torah Bar Mechurba. You see, you have a corner, an angle coming in to the other field, right? So, so it says that if you plant 2 types of seeds, in proximity, it can still be mutter. If the one side comes in an angle, right? So that it's not considered to be a tareva. It's not considered to be mixed together. And there is Chizkiah holds that if you planted 1 grain of barley next to another grain next to a wheat field, but if you plant again 1 grain of barley next to the wheat field, and next around the 1 grain of barley, there's a vacant space. So that you could plant other barley there in order to make a rosh tor. So it's made even if now there's only 1 seed. Because it's kind of like a meal. Legally, you can make a rosh tor out of it. You can make that angle. Even though they haven't yet made the angle, but there's space for it, so it's considered if you as if it's an angle. So here too, so it says that if you planted 2 minim, chita and sora, you can make each one an angle, and it'll be mutzah going to be used up for this reason. So in other words, even if they fell on the ground together, still you can make a rosh tor of each of them. That's why they won't be combined. The Rabban evidently don't hold that head that he can make a rosh tor. In this case, although you can't say it's not saying just go Rabbi Yehuda, but he would say only in a where there's a field of wheat and 1 grain of barley, not where there are just 2 grains, 1 of barley and 1 of wheat. So going now ask a fascinating question. Where it says, even if you have 2 wheats and 1 barley, you can make a rosh tor out of them. Right? Why not make a rosh tor? And here, the article gives you an interesting picture. This one over here. That you can make rosh tors out of them. Right? So you have 3 seeds. Right? You have 3 seeds. You make imagine a rosh tor here, imagine a rosh tor here, imagine a rosh tor there. So how's that ever going to be awesome? Right? So, again, so there's a cheni, and that could that be? But so we see that 3 seeds are that's it. You're chayav. So how can it be? I can make a rosh tor out of them. To make even more rosh tor, right? So so it says Gemara, pasala chita mikam gader mikam asor chavushaven. So in cases like this, you have chita here, a chita there, and barley in the middle, and there are fences on both sides. If the fence on both sides, you can't expand to make a rosh tor. Like this one rosh tor, that one rosh tor, but the middle one you cannot make a rosh tor. So therefore, that's a case in which you're going to be chayav, even if you hold of chizkiah. Well, that's that's if there isn't a churba on one side. But even if there's a churba on only one side, you can still make a 3 rosh Torah as we saw in the article. So therefore, Yitaka still would not be chayav in those circumstances. Parak Beis. Kol sheish bo rova mizan minacha yimayit. That's a ratio of 1/24. So anything which has a ratio of more than 1/24. 1/23 or 1/22. Of course, you have to take out the other seed. Rabbi Yossi Omer Yovar. It says, well, you don't. It's not enough to take out diminish it, so it's less than 1/24. It's only 1/25 or something. And you have to remove all of the extra of the other type. Whether that extra is from 1 min or from 2 min. It says the 2 min are not decided to be a rova, so therefore it would not be a problem. The kosher kilayim b'sam it's started for the rova. Chachamim say that any time it makes kilayim, it joins up to a rova. So the Pnei Moshe explains. Ika ben chachamim tanakama kigon social sam shemis arba rova sheshibo shlo in kusmin. We have a saw of sorim, which are coming together, a rova of shibol shul kusmin. The kama tzarech l'mayit. According to that kama, we have to make it less. Kama enser l'mayit, according to the York of Mayit, shibol shul ain't a clam mitzvah because shibol shul is not said to be combined with barley. Inside of kusmin, the shir rova of a so therefore it doesn't join with the kusmin to make up the shir of a rova, and the halacha is like the chachamim, which makes sense because. Kilayim. There's not a shear of kilayim of vis-a-vis the soil, so therefore you don't have to. It's that you don't have to remove any of the grain. And that brings us to the end of Testament days, end of the Mishnah. No, it's not the end of the Mishnah. Suspense to get rid of an alpha in the article. So we're paying third. So there's my medvar mamur Mishnah continues to feel them. My medvar mamur betua bekidnis ukidnis. So grain and grain, legumes and legumes. Betua bekidnis ukidnis betua, or legumes in grain and grain and legumes, or legumes in grain. So all of those cases are cases of brover min acher yemait. So Bemis Amru, but they said, in fact, Zirona Ginush in the Cholim, if you have seeds which cannot be eaten, which got mixed up in Tvur Kiddis, so nevertheless, Tanakama says, Mitzdarfin, Echad Vasim Arba Benefla Beisah. They do join together. I'm Rabbi Shimon. Shimon said, "Kashem shul hachmir af lahakel." Just like they said l'chumra, they also said it l'kula. So the name Moshe, for some reason, appears in the Vilna and the Rav of the base, which obviously divided this up to Mishnah in differently than we have in Gemara. And he says there that B'emazomru zeri g'nechem nechom shisar b'tful kidnis mitzdarfin. And take a look at how much you have of those. So in other words, they join together to make up the 124th. And the Bnei Moshe says that it goes not by volume in the mixture, but by volume of what's eventually going to grow from the mixture. Now, Kashem Shul HaHachmir is Yeronim Dakim Osim B'Shir Muat. Yes, seeds which are small. They aser in a small even in a small amount, because they're going to make a carbon saw even with a smaller amount when it actually grows. If it's 60s, you have to plant many more of them. So they don't answer in a saw of chitim elab echad b'chavdal b'noifel men lebeisah. It has to be that they made the shear again of them, which is going to create a 1/3 of the base saw. So therefore, pishton b'tvua. If you have flax with grain, so mitzavis echad me'asim arba v'nov lebeisah, it goes out of 1/24 of the flax, which how it's going to grow. And the name Moshe says that if you got three rovas in a saw of grain, and that's 1/24 when they fall into base saw, then it's usher and you have to remember. So that's more what it means to say that pishton, and that's the one I was going to explain that. Pishton has a different shear because of the way it grows differently. Obviously, when we get to the Gemara, we're going to have that in more in greater detail. But we will do it today.